I felt the ground fall out from beneath me long before the glass slipped from my hand. There she was, Emma, the woman I had asked to spend the rest of my life with, leaning into my best friend Daniel. Her fingers curled into the collar of his shirt, his thumb tracing her jaw as naturally as if it had done so 100 times. And then, softly, almost tenderly, their mouths met. The music thumped around me, the lights sparkled overhead, laughter rolled through the room, but all I could hear was the sound of something inside me tearing. My fiancé. My best friend. One moment that rewrote everything I thought I knew. For a second I thought maybe I'd misinterpreted what I saw. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe she'd slipped. Maybe. But no. Their kiss wasn't hurried or accidental. It was slow. Familiar. Like a conversation they'd been having behind closed doors for longer than I could admit to myself. My lungs forgot how to work. I stepped back from the crowd, heart hammering, vision blurred not with alcohol but with disbelief so sharp it tasted like blood. I fumbled for the small box inside my jacket pocket. The ring I'd spent 2 months choosing, the one that was supposed to symbolize trust, forever, everything. Suddenly felt heavy, wrong, like something dead. The room spun. The champagne glass I held wobbled, toppled, shattered against the tile. No one looked. No one noticed. Except one Emma. She pulled away from Daniel as her eyes met mine. And it was like time split open. Chapter 1. Before the lie broke open. We had been engaged for 3 months. 3 months of planning, laughing, dreaming. 3 months of picking flower colors, arguing about venues, sending out invitations with her handwriting curled beautifully across envelopes. I was happy. God, I was stupidly happy. Daniel had been my best friend since high school. He was the one who handed me tissues when my mother died, who slept on my couch after his divorce, who stood beside me the night I proposed to Emma with tears in his eyes saying, "You two are perfect." Perfect. How easily that word can rot. Maybe there had been signs. Days when Emma seemed distant, mornings when she'd pull away from my kiss, phone screens turned face down, notifications cleared fast enough that I barely saw Daniel's name flash across them. I didn't ask. Love made me blind and willing. Chapter 2. The party. The engagement party was supposed to be a celebration. It was full of friends, fairy lights, music, clinking glasses, and congratulations. I remember smiling too much, hugging too many strangers, watching Emma glow in a white satin dress that shimmered like a promise. She looked like a future. Now she looked like a stranger. When she realized I'd seen them, her face changed. Shock, guilt, fear, something like regret, but not enough. Daniel's eyes followed hers, widening when he finally saw me. His lips parted but no words came out. They were caught in a moment they could never take back. I didn't shout. I didn't break anything else. My silence was louder than chaos. I walked to the table where the engagement cake sat, the frosting reading "Forever starts here." The ring burned against my palm. Emma pushed through the crowd. "James, wait." I placed the ring beside the cake. And I walked out. Chapter 3. Afterwards. Cold night air hit me like reality. I didn't know where to go, so I just walked. Through streets glowing with neon signs and holiday lights. Past bars full of laughter that felt like mockery. Past couples holding hands like something unbreakable. My phone buzzed relentlessly. Emma, Daniel, then more names. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Eventually, I ended up at the waterfront. The waves slapped against the pier beneath me, steady, indifferent. The wind stung my face, or maybe that was just the tears I hadn't realized were falling. She betrayed me. He betrayed me. And somehow I still missed them both. How do you mourn 2 people who are still alive? I sat there until the sky paled into morning. Chapter 4. Confrontation. I finally went home, the apartment silent, still holding her scent. Emma arrived 20 minutes later, breathless, mascara smeared, the engagement ring clutched in her shaking hand. "James, please let me explain." I stared at her. "Explain what?" "That you kissed him. That you're in love with him. That I was just a placeholder." She flinched. "It wasn't planned. We were drinking and—" "Don't," I snapped. "Don't insult me with drunk made me do it." Her eyes filled with tears. I care about you. Love you. I got confused. I didn't mean for it to happen. But it happened, I said. And confusion doesn't make two people kiss like that. She swallowed, and there, just for a second, I saw truth flicker. I think part of me always loved him, she whispered. My whole world shattered, not loudly but silently, like a star dying far away in the dark. I nodded slowly, voice breaking. I deserve someone who's sure. She cried like she was the one grieving. But her tears didn't change what she'd stolen. Chapter 5. The best friend. Daniel showed up 2 days later. Rain streaked down his jacket, hair dripping, breath unsteady like he'd run the whole way. James, please talk to me. I looked at him and felt anger coil like wire in my chest. You had every chance to stop her, I said calmly. And you didn't. He stepped inside without waiting. I don't know what to say. I was weak, messed up. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. He nodded miserably. I would take it back if I could. But you can't. Silence stretched, raw and jagged. Then I asked the question I'd been avoiding. How long? He hesitated. Too long. 2 months. The breath left my body. So it wasn't a moment. It was a pattern. A hidden life running under mine like a second heartbeat. I stepped closer. Close enough to smell the rain on his skin. You were my brother, I whispered. And you killed us. Daniel's voice broke. I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know. His shoulders sagged as he turned to leave. And Daniel, I called after him. He looked back. We were never perfect. But we were supposed to be honest. That was the last time I saw him. Chapter 6. Healing isn't linear. Weeks passed. Some days I woke up and felt nothing. Others, grief hit like a wave strong enough to pull me under. I boxed up wedding invitations, deleted playlists, returned deposits. I slept on the couch because the bed smelled like promises we never kept. I went to work like a ghost wearing my face. Friends told me I'd move on. Time heals. New love will come. But betrayal leaves a stain. Not always visible, just felt like a bruise under the skin. Trust became something I watched instead of something I gave. And yet, slowly, painfully, I learned to breathe again. Final chapter, after the ring. A year later, I found myself back at the same pier. The waves were calm this time, moon steady overhead. I stood there with my hands in my pockets, finally able to think of Emma without collapsing inside. I forgave them, not for their sake but for mine. Then I reached into my coat, pulled out a small velvet box. Not the original one, that had gone back to the jeweler long ago. This one was empty. I opened it and let the wind take it from my grasp. It tumbled into the water and vanished beneath the dark. Clean ending. I breathed deeply, salt air filling lungs that finally felt new. I didn't leave the ring on the table for them. I left it for myself. A reminder that love should never be half chosen. And trust should never have to beg. And when I walked away from that pier, I wasn't running anymore. I was starting over.